This AutoTrader EchoPark Automotive 400 Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code RACE SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, and we, my friend, are getting set up for the Monster Mile, the Dover concrete extravaganza, the track that Jimmy Johnson owns, and all that other good stuff for the one of the longest names in all of NASCAR as far as sponsors goes. But yeah, buddy, here to set up a fantastic race and look back on a pretty fun racing day at Sonoma.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to the roundy rounds, as Denny Hamlin said. So circle track once again, Rod. But let's get to the point here. You were at Sonoma this weekend. How was it?
Oh my God, Cody. Every time it just seems like it gets better and better for me because I now that I know, the first year you go, you're like, oh, what can I do? What can I not do? Like, can I go over there? Can I not go over there? You're getting a feel for everything. The second year, you're kind of doing a little more exploring. And then, the third and after that, it just, everything that you need to do. The places you need to hit. The free Celsius spots. Everything that you can do at that track. And it just gets better and better. I loved it. I had so much fun. Met Brian and Kyle from the look, I'm just gonna screw it up right there. But Angle of Pursuit podcast. Sorry guys, I'm so excited about actually having met you guys that I forgot it. But yeah, the Angle of Pursuit podcast. Finally met Brian and Kyle. Such fantastic human beings. I know I didn't get to spend a lot of time with them because I don't spend a lot of time in the press box when I'm there. Like I'll be in there and pop in every once in a while, but I'm in the action, Cody. I can't just sit there. I can't stand. I've got to be down on the track. I've got to be watching these cars. I got to be in the pit lane. Like there's just so much to do and so much to see that I can't not do it. It's an experience and you got to experience it.
Yeah, absolutely. You texted me about that. You're like, I don't know how people just sit in the press box, and maybe it's different if you're a guy who goes to every single race, right, and all that. But yeah, when we get the few chances that we get, and you have the opportunity to be down in the action, like watching some from the press box is nice, especially if it's warm. You sit down, cool off, charge the phone up or whatever. But I like to be in the action, and it's so amazing how much access NASCAR does give to us. Just as we're just a couple of podcast guys here, but they give us plenty of access and let us have a great time and treat us well. So it's always really nice.
And that is another thing too. I'm blown away. I'm blown away at the fact that, you can just, the access. I'm standing right behind a pit stall as a pit stop happens, right? Or I'm a little ticked off because I missed the fight between the 6 and the 54s pit. I was literally, so I had just walked from that area. Okay, I was going under the tunnel. I was going on the other side of the track. I was doing all that, and I was like, I'm a little warm. I'm gonna go up real quick, cool off, grab a quick drink of water, and then all of a sudden they show the replay of the 54 and the 6 fighting. I was like, Jesus, I was just there. Like, why didn't I just stick around for another 5 minutes and I would have seen that fight? But yeah, there's so much good. Truth Matters wants to know, did Ty Gibbs hit me? No, but he never listens to the show, so who cares? You want
let's have this conversation because I had an instant reaction in the Discord, and then my mind has been changed as we've continued along, Rod.
Okay, but first, before we do that,
I think that you tell us about this wonderful sponsor, and then we'll get into it.
I will. I'll tell you, because if you want other people talking about other sports, we've got it for you. All of everything that we own on the SGPN network is all on the app. So get that app and have all the picks and all the props and all the free stuff that you could possibly imagine straight from the SGPN, who made it possible for me to be at the same track as young Tyrone Gibbs, who, listen, before you give your take, I will tell you, as somebody who was on the ground and sees how he operates, I am not buying this I don't know thing. Oh, he shouldn't have been that deep in the stall. Oh, blah, blah, blah. This kid rides in on a scooter to introductions. He rides on a scooter.
What's wrong with that?
It's the concept of the whole thing. He's efficient. He's a spoiled brat. The kid is a spoiled brat. You see it on his face.
He's saving his body to put it all out on the line out there in these heavy race cars, perform as well as he does.
Oh my God. You don't scoot around on a little freaking
bias, but
punk kids.
Everybody scooter. They have scooter gangs, Rod.
Are
they scooter clubs? I guess you have to call them clubs, right? We're not allowed to say.
They had the stupid scooter waiting for him at the end of what you call it there when he was done with the race. Like, he can't even just walk off the track like everybody else. He's got to take his little scooter off the track. Whatever.
They're just catching up to the other guy. Like IndyCar, I was at the IndyCar race at Iowa a couple of years ago. They were all scootering around, right?
And they're all spoiled brats.
It's 2025, old man. Let them scoot. Let them scoot as they please.
Whatever. Anyways, I am a boomer.
Yes, Rod, you sound like a boomer.
I will shake my fist at the clouds.
But
all right,
no,
Cody,
go ahead. The pit road incident there, when they first showed it, kind of just a glimpse, like I was half paying attention, right? Heard Steve talking about it, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, if he did swerve at them, I said in the Discord right away, I was like, he should be suspended a race. Absolutely. No questions about it. Like, if he tried to hit a guy, like, you do not use a race car as a weapon to hit a person. And I was fully on board at that point in time with he should be suspended if that was the case, right? And I said at the time, need to see it again. As Steve had said on the broadcast, we did see it again, kind of had some different angles on it and stuff. My mind has been changed on that. I do think that he was just getting into his box, cut it a little closer than he had before. That guy was also pretty far off the wall with the tire there, which he should probably be a little more aware when the car that's pitting in the next stall in front of him. It's not like he was not going into the next stall. Probably close, right? And I've kind of listened to some different, views from drivers, listened to some different views from guys that work on pit road. And everybody's got different look on it, but I think it wasn't as egregious as it maybe looked at first. I definitely don't think he should be suspended. But had he done it on purpose and it'd been egregious, I absolutely would have advocated for suspension, which would have taken him out of the playoffs, all that stuff, because I think that there should be, no allowance for that at all. But looking back at it, I think that it was more of just a racing deal than anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, listen, I all my feelings about him aside, right? When I look at the precise nature that these guys drive these
I don't
cars,
think you can put your bias aside. I think that's the problem.
Well, at this point I can't, right? I mean, look, I didn't say a word to him in the entire time I was there. I felt like it a couple times, but I didn't. But no, listen, these guys drive these cars with precision. They know exactly to the 10th of an inch where they put these cars. He could have taken a shallower entry to try to miss him.
Guys get hit on pit road all the time. Accidents happen.
I don't want to hear it.
It's not as bad as it looked initially.
I don't think he did it on purpose, but I still think that it was something he could have probably.
We're going to talk plenty about Ty Gibbs today. Don't worry. But I want to catch up with the chat real quick. Cousin Danny says he predicts Shane Van Gisbergen will win at Dover. I don't know if you saw it. Dover tweeted out a picture on their X, and it was, tested, like getting the scoreboard ready or something, and it just had 8s all over it. You know how it is, right? They light up all the numbers. Chase Briscoe quote tweeted, and he's like, did they turn Dover into a road course? So I thought that was pretty funny. Book's not fooled. He's like 300-1 to win this week. To no surprise. Truth Matters says Ross Chastain. Charles checking in says, let's go. What's up, guys? Ash checking in from across the pond. Not much being offered by 365 and Bovada yet. Both have top 3 and top 10s just out. Those just got out because they were not out previously. Sansa saying finally back to just turning left. The Expert Suck says, geez, how many Echo Park races are there? Well, how many tracks are owned by SMI is part of the question. JDK's got that answer for us if we really wanted it. But Echo Park is owned by Marcus Smith's brother, who's the owner of the SMI tracks. So I'm guessing when they're having problems getting a race sponsor, he calls his brother and he's like, hey, buddy, you want to sponsor this? So speaking of JDK, he's in the chat, says, afternoon, fellas. He's on Ryan Priest's top 10 at plus 250. Noah Gregson, top 10 at 10-1. So, yeah, JC checking in as well. Truth Matter says, I have a poli-sci degree. All right. Expert Sucks calling you, Rod, get off my lawn. And, yeah, JC also glad that we're back in an oval. And I'm apparently a good defense lawyer. So, hey, I wish I could get paid like a good defense lawyer.
Right, you're telling me. And as far as get off my lawn, you don't think I'm counting the days till I get a senior discount at a buffet? Come on, man. Like, that is one of the biggest perks of being over the age of 55. Like, that's that, and being able to tell anybody anything and not suffer the consequences of it.
Yeah, that's like, what, next year? So you're almost there.
It feels like it sometimes, but no, listen. And again, I am glad, again, that we're back at an oval. I know, obviously, Shane's not very thrilled about it, but I will say this. Shane, several times over, and in fact, at one point when we were talking to him after the Xfinity, or no, after he won the poll, somebody asked him the question about, hey, when is the oval game going to start getting better? And he said, I don't want to say that I'm annoyed at that question. He's like, but it is getting a little old because we are working on it. Yeah, he's like, it's not as if I'm not trying to do better at ovals, but it's a big learning curve. He's like, obviously, I know how to do road racing.
Let's not rush him, because if he starts getting good at ovals, it's going to be rough for everybody else, Rod, because, my God, he's absolutely amazing at the road courses. Obviously, he's clearly the best driver on road courses right now. 3 wins this season. I know that we didn't have as many road courses back in the day, but that's the NASCAR of today. They're playing by today's rules. He has just as many wins as anybody else this season, which is thoroughly impressive. He's clearly earned his spot in the playoffs. I think he's 3rd or 4th now in playoff points earned. We still have Watkins Glen coming up in 4 weeks before we get into the playoffs. If he can sneak through that first round, the Roval is in the second round of the playoffs. So he'll certainly have a good shot there. So yeah, it's been a pretty solid season and tied the rookie record by Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson. I don't know what either of those two guys ever did, but with 3 wins in their rookie season, and I mean, with Watkins Glen and the Roval still on tap this season, there's a decent chance that he'll be the sole owner of that record before the year's over.
Jimmy Johnson just got inducted into the Sonoma Wall of Fame, so I was there for that press conference.
Are we a little late for that? Shouldn't he be on every hall and wall there is at this point in time, Rob?
Well, maybe not Sonoma so much. He's only got 1 win at Sonoma. In fact, he even said it. He's like, my one and only road course win came here at Sonoma.
Surprisingly enough, I wouldn't have thought that he had any road course wins, for what it's worth. But
he's the same way. He was like, my one and only road course win right here at Sonoma. So holds a special place in his heart.
Yeah. John checking in, Rod, says Kyle Larson making a comeback at Dover. I've got some thoughts on that. We'll definitely talk about it.
We certainly will talk about that. And I will say, just to put a little bow on SVG, I almost came away with the ball that he kicked for after his win.
Oh.
It went off, and I started to track it, and it just sort of sailed. The wind kind of took it a little bit away from me, and it bounced into this general direction of these 2 gentlemen. And I was like, I want to run after it, but I'm in the media, so I will refrain.
You should have knocked somebody over. Just ran right through them, rugby style.
It would have been awesome to have that as well. But yeah. So Sonoma, great success. Talked to Jimmy Johnson. Talked to a bunch of folks. I talked to Michael McDowell. Got a chance to talk to Austin Cindric and a lot of great people. So a lot of fun. Thank you, Sonoma, Raceway for allowing me to come and have fun with you guys and to cover the sport. Every year, you guys knock it out of the ballpark. So thank you again for that. And I'll be back next year for sure.
Love to hear it.
2 days too. If you're going to do it, do both days, because both days are fantastic.
Yeah, I was so glad you made it for Xfinity. It's a lot of fun being there for both days and getting to take all the action.
Yeah, Xfinity, obviously, it was such a fun experience, and to watch Connor Zilic end up winning your 10-1 or 1 plus 150 winner rather.
Yeah, what a great race that was. That was watching those two go back and forth, which is probably something we're going to see for a few years, going forward here was pretty special.
It was absolutely special. All right, we will turn around and turn our attention to Dover. But first, allow me to tell you about our friends over there at Circa. Think you know ball? You got to enter Circa's football contest with $21 million in guaranteed prizes. No rake. So if the entry goes above the guarantee, all extra money is going to go back into that prize pool. So get all your friends involved because you know that money's going right back into the pool. Circa Million, you pick 5 teams against the spread each week or go for the ultimate sweat in Circa Survivor. There's even the Circa Grandissimo. That's a $100,000 Survivor contest. You got to register in person at Circa Sportsbook in Nevada. So listen, as if you really need an excuse to get to Las Vegas and Nevada, then by all means, this is your excuse. But, babe, I've got to go sign up for Circa Sports in person, you say. That's exactly what you got to do. And when you sign up from Nevada, you can play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com, use promo code SGP. You're going to get $50 off of your proxy fees. Let's tell you about our friends over at MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on any sport that you can imagine. Can you imagine it? It's probably on MyBookie right now, including MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. Easy deposit, lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. You know that I love me my Canadian football, and I absolutely love betting on Canadian football. Toronto Argonauts, 10.5-point favorites over the Montreal Alouettes. Look, I get it. Or I'm sorry, 10.5-point underdogs. That little plus sign means that they're the underdogs. Montreal Alouettes, 10.5-point favorites over the Toronto Argonauts. I get it. Montreal's been really good lately, but I don't know that they're going to beat Toronto by 10 points. So give me Toronto and the 10.5 at -110 over at MyBookie. Like I said, I know Montreal's been good, but come on, 10.5 points better? Don't think so. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Welcome to day one of Rod learning what the odds are. Gotta love that.
Gotta love it, Rod.
Well, I remember when I first started with this company, and I had no idea about anything about betting, right? And so I was looking at the numbers, and I was like, I don't get what's going on. And they had me on the game show that they used to play when they pit two people against each other. And I made it through 2 rounds, not knowing what the hell I was doing. And I thought, well, this
Fake
is
it till you make it, Rod.
Yeah, it was pretty damn good. So, eventually I finally learned what we could do with them, and here we are. So, thank goodness for that learning experience.
Yes, I'm glad you've learned as much as you have, Rod. And you've fooled people into thinking that you're the lifelong bettor that's been doing it since you were a kid. So it's all good.
I don't know who's fooled by that. I guarantee you nobody is fooled by that.
Yeah. There's people out there. Trust me, Rod.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, then, we are at the Dover Motor Speedway in Dover, Delaware for the AutoTrader EchoPark Automotive 400, set for 400 laps around the 1-mile paved monster mile, where Miles the Monster is still holding Jimmy Johnson's car high above that track, and in tribute of the great Jimmy Johnson.
Boy, Jimmy Johnson was really good here. The 48 car in particular has been very good here, Rod. So I think it is fitting to have that 48 car up there. We got to kind of reset ourselves a little bit because it's been a while. We had Sonoma this past week as a road course. We had the Chicago Street Course the week before as a road course. We had Atlanta, which is a super speedway prior to that. You did have Pocono sprinkled in there, which is, pretty much an oval, even though it's a triangle. But Mexico also before that, before we were back to a string of traditional oval races. So back into some traditional ovals now with Dover and Indy and Iowa before we head back to Watkins Glen, and SVG blows everybody away once again. But it's going to be exciting to get back on an oval. I'm not as much of a road course hater as some people on social media, but I do like the traditional ovals very much.
I like road courses for what they offer. And now Connor Zilch got asked yesterday, or Saturday rather, if he wanted to see more road course. How was the number of road courses on the schedule for him? And he's like, well, look, I'd love to see more, obviously, because I like road courses. But he says 6 or 7 is about where it should be. Like that's where it shouldn't be any less. He's like, but I definitely would like more. Yeah. So we'll see.
It's funny because they asked that question on DBC, and Michael McDowell was on this week, and he immediately was like, yes, more road courses. And Freddie Kraft, who spots for Bubba Wallace, is like, no more road courses, right? And it's, Brad Keselowski was vocal about it last week, like the guys who are good on it want more, and the guys who aren't want less, which obviously is why we shouldn't ask the drivers what they want anyways, and just do what's best for sure. But yes, great to be back at a quote-unquote normal oval, Rod. One thing I did want to talk about before we get into the picks, you shared this info in the Discord earlier. Goodyear's bringing a new tire to this race, and it's a tire that's not been used before, like a tire combination that's not been used before. It's also a tire that I don't think they've tested at all.
Not here.
So it's the one and only time that this tire setup will be used in 2025. So I was trying to just browse through the J-Skis article here. Goodyear Racing Eagle tire specifically designed for the Monster Miles ever-changing track surface. It's a new tire that's been designed to withstand the high speeds and high loads associated with it. Dover won't be used at any other track. Blah, 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 so on and so forth. But interesting we don't know what to expect out of this tire. And we've seen when a compound was just slightly off last year at Bristol, it turned into a complete shit show. It was a great race, but a complete shit show of a race. So I'll be interested to see, and I guess just throwing that out there as a caution, like there's some potential this could turn into craziness with the tire. Goodyear's pretty good at figuring out, getting close to what their target is. But we'll have to see. This is a concrete surface, generally a little bit higher tire wear. So, it sounds like maybe they're trying to make it less tire wear, but if they miss and it's more tire wear, things could get pretty crazy.
Cody's throwing the caution on this one right now. That's what Cody's doing right now. Yeah, no, listen, it's going to be interesting again, because we don't know what's going on and we don't know what to do. And yet another track where even if we do know what's going on, this could throw a gigantic wrench into the handicapping of it. So it's almost as if we don't know what's going to happen, right? So, but we're going to have to handicap as if this tire is going to act like any other tire on Dover and approach it that way.
Yeah, I think it's too much of an unknown to be able to really factor it into your handicapping. Maybe if you would like a longer shot or two for some crazy chaos, sprinkle them. But, maybe we'll learn something in practice and qualifying and we can revisit. But just wanted to toss out there that it was happening. So, all right, Rod, I did notice in the chat here that JC was saying these drivers and these new cars with injuries, with hits, I think Bowman and Elliott were both off mentally for a while. Somebody else that I think is off mentally right now, Rod, that's Kyle Larson. So I am going to fade Kyle Larson. I'm going to take Denny Hamlin over Kyle Larson. It's minus 125 over on ESPN. It's a little bit scary to take anybody over Kyle Larson. Like Kyle Larson, I've said it a million times. I'll continue to say it. I still think is the greatest race car driver in the world right now. But I do think he's been off a little bit lately. And in particular, he's been off since that wreck at the Indianapolis 500, Rod. We saw him wreck at that race. He then went to Charlotte and wrecked there as well. And things have not been good. He's not run well at all. One top 10 in the last 5 races. And since he dominated Kansas, wins that race, just going away, kills everybody. But since he went to Indy after that, 3 top 10 finishes since that Kansas race on May 11th. Long time ago, and the 3 top 10s, it's not 3 top 5s, it's not wins. Like, it's been pretty rough for him lately. And if you go back and look at what they have done at Dover, these 3 in particular, of course, we have 3 races here to look back on. Denny Hamlin last year led 136 laps, won the race, good, strong race. Kyle Larson did finish second to him, but Denny gets the head-to-head there. 2023, Denny Hamlin finishes in 5th place, Kyle Larson 32nd, so he's beat him 2 races in a row. The one Larson did get him, Larson finished 6th here in 2021, or 2022, rather, in the first next-gen race. Denny Hamlin finished in 21st, but bit of an asterisk. Denny started in 2nd place that day, led 67 laps early, won stage 1, had a loose wheel, and got sent to the back. And then thanks to iFantasy Racing for this, by the way, on X, where he shared it. But he drove all the way back up to 4th before Cody Ware spun in front of him and cost him his day. Ends up finishing 21st at the end of the day. So he's been really good on this track in particular. And speaking of iFantasy Racing, all his wonderful data and stuff over there, he pointed out that Denny Hamlin at Dover in the Next Gen era last year, first in the best driver rating, best total speed ranking, led 136 laps, dominated in closing time. 2023, he was 5th with a 4.9 average running position, 3rd best in total speed ranking. And then, of course, the 2021 might have had the best car, but all those things that I mentioned ended up in 21st. So he's been good here. If you go back over the last 7 races of this year, since Kyle Larson got his bell rung a little bit, 6 of the last 7 races, Denny Hamlin has finished better than Kyle Larson. Now, that is taking out Mexico because Denny didn't race there, of course, but 2 of those being road courses. And actually, the one where Larson beat Denny is Atlanta, the super speedway, which is shocking enough, Rod. But it's been all Denny lately. And, Kyle can come out and just light the world on fire at any point. If he came out and led every lap this weekend, wins the race, I wouldn't be super surprised. But until I see him get out of this fog, get out of this funk, I think it's worth fading him. And we're not just fading him for anybody. We're fading him for the guy who's been probably the best, arguably, outside of Truex, who's not in this race, at Dover in the Next Gen era. So give me Denny Hamlin over Kyle Larson, minus 125. You can get that over on on ESPN, rather. And then I also am going to take Ryan Blaney over William Byron, minus 115 over on Caesars. I'm going to continue to fade William Byron. It barely worked out for us last week, but it did. Christopher Bell did beat him in the head-to-head I gave out here. Byron had a better day than I expected, but I love Ryan Blaney this week, and I noticed the Expert Suck had mentioned Blaney somewhere. I can't find it in the chat, but they're going to be on Blaney. I like Blaney as well. Last year, led 47 laps, finished in 7th, 3rd place in 2023, did suffer a 26th place finish in 22, but William Byron's 3 finishes here, rather. 33rd last year, had a 4th 2 years ago, but 3rd for Blaney, so Blaney got him there. And 22nd in 2022. So 2 not good finishes, and Blaney got him 2 of the last 3 times, including the last 2 years, similar to Denny over Larson. Byron, he's kind of hit that summer slump that we talked about. 4 of the last 6 races, 27th or worst place finishes for him. Blaney's had a bit of his own bad luck, but if you go back to the last 3, normal quote-unquote ovals we had, you had the Pocono 3rd place run by Ryan Blaney and a 1st place run in Nashville, where Byron was 27th at Pocono and 5th at Nashville. So Blaney got him in both of those races. Both of them had a rough day at Michigan, so we're just going to kind of toss that out. 32nd and 28th place finishes. But I'm going to continue the summer fade of William Byron this week. Again, he could have a good run, and it's not to say Larson couldn't have a good run too. I just think Denny's going to be better than Larson. I think Blaney's going to be better than Byron. So give me Blaney over Byron, minus 115 over on Caesars.
It's like 4 snake-bitten drivers, honestly. I mean, Denny and Kyle have both had their problems over the last few weeks. Blaney and Byron have both had their problems as well. And yeah, at some point, it's got to end for one of them. I do hope that it ends for Blaney because I feel like he has just been driving so much better than all of his finishes have dictated, and it sucks. And you're right, Kyle, even his body language. See, most of the times at Sonoma, he's happy. He's going around. He's got a lot, of fans, obviously, because it's only 45 minutes to an hour away from Elk Grove, where he lives, and so there's a lot of people out there to see him. I didn't see a lot of Kyle Larson this week, so I don't know if it's just because he's just in his head, but yeah, there's something that's fallen off about him, and somebody had said it in there earlier. Yeah, JC.
It seems too like even on the dirt side of things, I have not paid super close attention, but every time I see results, like he's not winning like he normally is, like some second place finishes and good runs, and he wasn't bad at Sonoma, but losing this is stage 2 like he to SVG like he did, his TK points out, just not his normal self. And I get SVG is kind of a he's great, obviously, but Larson just it's not been what it normally is, and I don't need him to be way off for Denny to beat him. I just need him to be a little bit off, and I expect Denny to be very good, and we'll talk more about that later. But I think it's going to be a Denny week, so I'm going to take the Denny over Larson, and we could be in a point where we're looking to fade Larson every week until he's going to come back, right? And we're going to see it, and it's going to happen. But he's also that Hendrick summer lull, like maybe they're trying some stuff out too. We've seen that for years and years and years out of that camp. So I'm potentially we're putting Larson on notice here, where we might be fading him kind of week after week until it bites us.
Well, you said a Hendrick slump, but I'm picking one Hendrick driver to not have a gigantic slump, and that is the 48 car of Alex Bowman. I'm going to take him over the 19 of Chase Briscoe, minus 120 over on ESPN. You said it yourself, this 48 car has been mighty fine getting around Dover in the past, and Alex Bowman has not necessarily changed that perception of it all around. In the speed sheet heat chart, I did it this time, from iFantasy Race, Alex Bowman actually came in with the 8th place finish last year, but he was 7th in total speed ranking, 7th in green flag speed, 6th latest in a run, 4th in a segment, and that's fantastic for the 48, right? I mean, we don't sing the praises of the 48 other than he's a great top 10 candidate each and every week, but there's some tracks where he excels. Now, Chase Briscoe, on the other hand, last year, 21st in total speed ranking, 21st in the late run, all that other good stuff. He was not very good. Obviously, yes, he's not in that 19 car, and I know that makes a huge difference to a lot of people, but Dover is a different track. Dover is definitely a technically demanding track, and when you can't get around it, you can't get around it. Chase Briscoe has finishes of 13th, 30th, and 19th in the next-gen era for an average of 20.7. Where does Alex Bowman stack in this one? Third. Now, granted, he's got one less race than does Chase Briscoe because that 2023 race, he was not a participant. However, in the other two, in 2022, he was in 5th place, and then in 2024, he was in 8th place. I would venture to say that in 2023, if he were to race here, he would still have at least a pretty good top 10 finish on this particular track, which is something he is fantastic at. At the total speed rankings in general at this track in the next-gen era, Alex Bowman is second only to Denny Hamlin with an average speed ranking of 6. Again, one less race. I understand that, but it's still much better than the Chase Briscoe 25.7, which lands him as the 27th fastest driver in that capacity. This season, it's been kind of the same season for both of these guys, right? I mean, Chase Briscoe has 9 top 10 finishes. Alex Bowman has 10. Alex Bowman has 4 top 5s. Chase Briscoe has 7. But if you look at some of these top 5s that Chase Briscoe has, he had that 2nd place finish at Sonoma last week, right? That 1st place at Pocono, 3rd at Charlotte, 4th at Kansas. A couple of good days there. But, I mean, past that, it was a 23rd at Michigan after starting on the pole, 17th at Nashville after starting on the pole, which is kind of concerning if you are a Chase Briscoe fan. Alex Bowman, he had that 19th at Sonoma, I get it, but he also had 2 poor finishes at Michigan and Nashville. 5th at Kansas, which is good for us, is there as well. It's just been kind of a rough go for both of these guys, but I still think that 48 likes this track better, right, than does Chase Briscoe, and I think that's going to shine through this week, and I think it's going to give him a slight advantage. So give me Alex Bowman over Chase Briscoe minus 120.
I don't know, Rod. I don't know about this one. So I do really like Bowman this week. I actually had him penciled in for a top 5. I took that off the board for somebody else, but I still, honorable mention to it because he's been so good here. That 48 car has just always been good here. But you know what else has been really good here? That 19 car, and we saw it last week. That 19 car go to Sonoma. It panned out for Briscoe last week. James Small, while I think he sucks in a general sense, maybe he's got some notebooks figured out at a couple of these tracks, and it seemingly is transferring over to Briscoe. So I've got some thoughts on Briscoe in a bit because I do like a bet on him. But I like both of these guys, I guess, a lot this week. So it's tough for me to pick a side in this head-to-head.
And I get it. Like I said, it wouldn't shock me if Briscoe does come out. I'm not even saying that he's not going to get a top 10 or even, kind of even a top 5. But I think Bowman is going to also be in that same category. And I know Trampled by Squirrels has thoughts on that too.
Yeah, Briscoe sucked at Sonoma, gets in the 19, qualifies 2nd, stage points all day, finishes as the only guy close to SVG. Be very afraid of Briscoe, who has now learned this new vehicle. That's actually another point. We kind of had that discussion in the Discord, but going into the season, I was very pump the brakes on Briscoe, calm down on Briscoe, let's wait and see. It worked out early in the season, but if he has started to figure this stuff out, we could be seeing that talent that Joe Gibbs believes in kind of starting to shine through, and he could be a threat as we kind of continue on down the road, for sure. So just I got to keep your eye out on. I'll be interested in when qualifying odds come up. I was hoping they'd be posted by now, but I've not seen any anywhere. I'm very interested in Briscoe. He's been qualifying so good each and every week. If they are going in with the Truex setup and he hits it in qualifying right away, I think he could be a big threat for the pole. So potentially Briscoe, what the odds are, watch for him when qualifying odds do drop.
I think it's funny that we said he was the only one close to SVG. I will let you know that when you were watching the race up close and personal, it was SVG, and then you wait. And then you wait.
Well, yes.
And here comes Chase Briscoe. It was hilarious.
Well, did you see his comments? He said there were 36 race cars out there and one rocket ship, and he was proud of his team for having the best of the 36 race cars. Unfortunately, they were racing against a rocket ship in SVG. So, but yeah, I was impressed by Briscoe. I think that was his first Cup top 5. Don't quote me on that, but something like that on a road course. Like, he'd been good in Xfinity, but we hadn't really seen it in Cup yet. But if they're starting to figure some stuff out, interesting for sure. I did want to point out too, Ash mentioned on Elliott over Byron for the same reason for my head-to-head. If I did not see that when I was looking through matchups, so I think Ash usually uses Bovado or 365, but I would absolutely take Elliott over Byron this week. I might like that even more than Blaney over Byron, honestly.
I have more to say about him in a little bit, and we will get to those picks in a second, but I want to tell you about our friends at Underdog. Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. There's no waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football, and plus Underdog also has a great place to play Pick'em. You know, I love me some obscure sports. They got cricket. Dean Foxcroft, 19.5 first inning runs. Sounds a little crazy, but if you know cricket, and if they're giving me a number like 19.5, right, a projection of 19.5, I'm going to go ahead and take the higher then, because it feels like that guy is probably a first inning run machine. So give me the higher than 19.5 first inning runs for Dean Foxcroft to play cricket. I love the name. It sounds so cool. Dean Foxcroft, 19.5 higher than first inning runs. You can find all kinds of fun sports like that over on Underdog. And you sign up right now with our promo code RACESGPN. You're going to claim a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. You've heard us talk about Rhythm before. Well, they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. Essentially, the best of what the house model has to offer. They're AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends, updated daily and exclusive to Rhythms. No touts, no noise, just clean, data-backed bets. MLB Power Trends as we head into the All-Star break. 254 and 147 with a win rate of 63% and an ROI of 4.5% in their past 400 bets. WNBA Power Trends, how about 35 and 20 since the launch? 63.64% win rate, 20.7% ROI. Go download the Rhythm app now, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know that we are going to be. How about Caitlin Clark with the Fever? Let's see. Rhythm's predicting a 9.7 rebound and assist for Caitlin Clark, where the lines are right around 12.5. So Rhythm telling you to take the under on rebounds and assists for Caitlin Clark, which seems counterproductive, but I'll take Rhythm's word for it, and we'll go with that as well. Start your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Do you feel yucky betting against Caitlin Clark?
I mean, she did play for Iowa, so I always have to kind of take that into account. Although I do love her very much, I've forgiven her for playing for Iowa. But hey, if Rhythm's on it, then they're pretty good at their stuff and finding those trends. So hard to argue too much with them. And for that underdog play, Foxcroft. I mean, what a name, Rod! I would love to have a driver to bet on named Foxcroft. I would find a way to work Foxcroft into the show every week just for the name.
I love uncovering stuff like that. I mean, and what about pickleball? It's gotten so big. Hey, pickles, but JC wants pickleball Underdog, so get on that. I would I would back that up.
Speaking of pickleball, Rod, I know Tyrone Gibbs ran the pickle car a couple weeks ago. So if you want to take your union break for the day, go ahead, sit back. You don't have to listen to this part. But I'm going to take the pickle man, Tyrone Gibbs. Top 10 plus 150. Have they even watched any races lately, Rod? 7th at Sonoma, 2nd at Chicago, 14th at Atlanta, 14th at Pocono, 11th at Mexico City, 3rd at Michigan. He has been on fire lately. He's really hitting his stride at this point in time. You go back and you look, Dover, it's a mile concrete track. There's not really any true comps, but Bristol, one of the closer comps to it, 3rd place finish by Tyrone Gibbs there earlier this spring. Darlington, you can compare the tire wear from Darlington to Dover, 9th place finish there as well. So hitting his stride lately, been good at comp tracks. You go back and you look, what has he done here before? Well, in his 2 career starts in the next gen era, 10th place last year after a 13th place in his first season here. So absolutely love it. I'm going to play Tyrone Gibbs for the top 10 plus 150. Gibbs, we didn't really talk about the bracket, Rod, but you've got John Nemechek and Ty Dillon matched up on one side. I'm currently the holder of actually sort of a pretty good situation for me on both sides. I have a 150 to 1 ticket on John Hunter to win the bracket. So if he wins, that's great. If Ty Dillon wins one of the bracket challenges I'm entered in, he'll push me over the top because I had him going all the way in that one. That scores a ton of points. So that I will win that before the final race is even done. So I'm liking that side of things. But on the other side, you got Ty Gibbs matched up against Tyler Reddick. And I'm going to take Ty Gibbs in this matchup. He's plus 110. I think you're getting 2 fairly equal cars that we could call, right? Head to head here. And Reddick is minus 140, but Gibbs is plus 110. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. You go back and you look at what they did the last 2 years. The last 3 for Reddick, but 3 years ago, Reddick finished 30th. So I'm assuming if Gibbs would have been in that race, probably would have finished better than him. 2 years ago, Reddick finished in 7th, so did best Gibbs by a few spots. But last year was an 11th place finish compared to Gibbs' 10th place finish. But if you go back and you look at some of these other races, Bristol that I mentioned a few minutes ago, 18th place for Reddick. Not a great day. Not really his track type. 3rd place for Ty Gibbs, as I mentioned. So better than him last year, close to him 2 years ago here at Dover. Better than him at Bristol earlier this season. Go back to Pocono, our last quote-unquote oval. 14th for Gibbs, 32nd for Tyler Reddick, but just kind of been off. Michigan, the previous race to that, 3rd place for Gibbs, 13th place for Reddick. I think that these 2 cars, you put them up face value head-to-head, and you're like, okay, Tyler Reddick's a better driver, right, all this stuff, but it's been a pretty rough season for Tyler Reddick overall, right? He's had some good runs for sure, but being the regular season champion last year, winning the races he won, he hasn't won this year. He's been kind of disappointing, not really in the points race like he was last year. Up against a guy like Gibbs, who's found some momentum lately, scooter and all, Rod. Maybe that was the key. He started riding the scooter, starts driving better. I don't know. But give me Ty Gibbs, top 10 plus 150, and over Tyler Reddick at plus 110.
I will agree with you about both of those because as much as I don't like him, still know that he's probably going to get.
You like these Ty Gibbs bets? Is that can you say that again? I just repeat after me. I like these Ty Gibbs bets.
Rod Villagomez, under no duress and as a free thinker and a human being that can make his own decisions, will back Cody on a Ty Gibbs top 10. Maybe the last time you will ever hear me say it, but that is a bet. Because here's the thing, okay? Again, I have to feel like I have to reiterate each and every time to everybody. I don't hate the human beings. Maybe sometimes a little. But I'm looking at what's going on. And right now, yes, Ty Gibbs is making a strong run and actually asserting himself, albeit a way I would never assert myself, into the conversation of these top 10s. So I will get with you on these. And for Tyler Reddick, it just feels like he's another one of those snake-bitten drivers that should be doing better as well. And so, Ty Gibbs, unless he Ty Gibbs himself, should get himself into a top 10 finish. So I like this bet. Let me wash this off with a Joey Logano. Let me downplay another driver that I don't necessarily like altogether, and that's Carson Hocevar. It's pile on Carson Hocevar day. Blindly, for those of you who don't, maybe just tuned out when I just mentioned the guy's name. Allow me to read you, let's see, from race 11. That is the Texas Motor Speedway, where this gentleman started on the pole, finished 24th. In Kansas, he finished 26th. In Charlotte, engine failure, finished 34th. Popped up, had a good day in Nashville. That's great. Second place finish there. But turned around in Michigan, 29th place. 34th in Mexico City. 18th at Pocono. Top 10 in Atlanta. That was a fluke. 35th at Chicago. 32nd at Sonoma. You would tell me, ladies and gentlemen, this driver is somebody you need to stay far away from, right? Well, that driver is Carson Hocevar. And I agree with you. You should stay far away from him. Joey Logano, since Texas. Oh, he won that race. Oh, well, you look at that. How about 9th place at Kansas? That's much better. Well, it's not second place, but it's still pretty damn good. 17th at Charlotte. I feel like that's a better number than Hocevar. Oh, yeah, it was. 4th place at Nashville. All right, got him there. But 22nd in Michigan, 21st rather in Mexico City, 16th at Pocono. Bad day in Atlanta, but he did start on the pole. Did Joey Logano. 11th and 9th in Chicago and Sonoma. Joey Logano, minus 125. And this is not to say that these guys are actually all that great at this track, because I will tell you, courtesy of our friends over at iFantasy Race, when you look at the finishes heat chart, Carson Hocevar, you got to scroll all the way down to 24th to find him. Joey Logano, you got to scroll down to 25th. But last year, Joey Logano finished 16th. Carson Hocevar is 22nd, and that is the only Cup Series race that he's been on this one as well. So, yeah, for me, I'm just going to take the fact that Joey Logano can drive a car much better than Carson Hocevar and ride that to the bank because, again, this is just a matter of you look at what they've done recently, and it's not a glowing resume for the 77. And he's getting, I mean, you know, not getting any friends. That anger bar above him is getting a lot more red with drivers around him. So, I love it. Is Dover a slow enough track that Hocevar can be dumped back-to-back weeks?
Dover is super fast. There's nowhere to dump anybody and nowhere to wreck at Dover unless you have the greatest save in racing history like Jimmy Johnson did once here. Go Google Jimmy Johnson save at Dover. You will not be disappointed. Absolutely incredible save. But we warned you the last couple of weeks. Careful of Hocevar because he's going to get dumped. And Barry purposely very much dumped him to be the hero for everyone last week. So that won't happen again this week. The only thing, Hocevar's had a lot of speed lately, but the results have not been there. You know, he's had a lot of speed on the ovals, I guess I should say. Results haven't been there. And so that's, I guess, you know, if you want to get on the Joey side of things, fine, I get that. Joey's hard to trust, as is well documented throughout the history of the show. So take that for what it's worth, but I'm not going to endorse any hate on Mr. Carson Hocevar.
And that's fine. You don't have to. JC was saying that was not a joke about pickles or pickleball, and I know pickleball's serious.
Huge.
I love watching
it. It is amazingly huge. I've never played pickleball actually, but people do love pickleball. Yeah. So there's that.
There's some good, and they had ESPN Ocho the other day too. So that was fantastic. I got to watch a bunch of good sports. All right.
The Experts Suck has a lot of Reddick PTSD, dude. It's
real.
It's been rough this year. Like last year, I was banging the drum for him. I was so high on him, and it all panned out perfect. Like he wins the regular season title. He got to the Final Four, I think, didn't he? Or either Final Four or Final Eight. But either way, like great season, wins all these races, and then it's just been brutal this year, and that's why, you know, going against him. So, yeah. But, all right, Rod, a couple of long shot top 10s. Both of these are available on ESPN at 9-1. Now that Bet365 has dropped, if you've got that, they are both 10-1. I'm going to start with Cole Custer. Not a guy we talk about very often, but I'm going to take his top 10 at 10-1, and it's really because of Ryan and iFantasy Race's stat. He says best to focus on recent form for him. But Cole Custer's been pretty good at Dover in the Cup level. 11.5 is his average finish in 4 starts and a result in the top 15 in every single race here. That's new car. That's the old car, you know, all with Stuart Haas previously, and now, of course, Haas. So take that for what it's worth. But, boy, being that good at this type of track, this tends to be a chalkier track if you kind of look through the results. Like, you don't get a lot of too much craziness. There's some stuff, right? But Custer to be that consistent through the old car, through the new car, you like that. Now being Haas motion, whatever the hell they're calling it this year, is a little bit scary, yes. But, you know, 19th place at Nashville, you could kind of take something away from that. I was going to try and make another good point through the rest of his season, but not so much. 8th at Mexico City. I don't know that that's much of a comp track, but this is strictly on how good he's been at Dover. Maybe he can put it together. 9-1, 10-1, whatever you can get it at. I think that is worth it. The other guy, Rod, John Nemechek, going back to the well with this guy. Absolutely love this kid. And he's run really well lately, especially you go back to the ovals. 6th place finish at Pocono, the last quote-unquote oval we were at. 10th place at Kansas not too long ago. Great runs there. And 8th place at Texas. Intermediates, higher speed tracks. You like to see that, good runs. 21st at Bristol, you'd want a little bit better, but not a horrible finish. They've just kind of been clicking really and doing extremely well. He, of course, is in this bracket challenge still, right? He's in the Final Four here, looking to punch his ticket to the championship round. Give me John Nemechek, 9-1, 10-1, whatever you can get him for the top 10 there.
Well, as a card-carrying Legacy Motor Club fan, when I first walked into the track, by the way, at Sonoma, I walked by the 42 hauler, and lo and behold, Jimmy Johnson sitting right there doing an interview, and I had to stop and bask in that. And then they bring him into the press room to do his conference, and I was like, and then I got to ask him a question, and he looked me dead in the eye, and the fanboy in me just went completely nuts, and I kept my composure, but inside I was just jumping around like a little 5-year-old kid that got handed a G.I. Joe for his Christmas present. But yes, I do endorse that, and I also endorse his teammate, Eric Jones, as a top 10, plus 350 over at ESPN Bet. You talked about it. I mean, Legacy's actually started to do something, and Jimmy acknowledged that too. He's very excited about how this 42 and 43 team are shaping up and actually showing some pretty decent speed. So whatever Jimmy's been doing has been working, right? And now, granted, it hasn't turned into a whole bunch of top 10s for young Eric Jones. He's only got 3 on the season, but 2 of those have been top 5 finishes. One of those was Atlanta, but obviously that's Super Speedway. I can't really do it. But 7th at Nashville, 13th at Charlotte, just outside of the top 10 in that one. 5th place at Texas at an intermediate. He qualified 5th in Phoenix, which is a mile track, right? So we're going to comp that a little bit as far as being the same distance. So he had speed enough to qualify 5th. Didn't turn into the finish he wanted. He ended up finishing 18th in that particular race. But again, we all know that Legacy is very capable of skirting around the top 10, which is, I think, a place he's going to find himself again on this track. As far as the next-gen average finishes heat chart is concerned, Eric Jones smack dab in 10th place on that list behind Barry, Blaney, Gibbs, Busher, which we'll get to that in a second, Truth Matters. I don't think either one of us are going to be talking much about. Oh, you are. Actually, you've got thoughts. You've got thoughts. But Eric Jones planted there in 10th overall with a 10th place finish in 2022 and a 16th place finish in 2023. So, I think Eric Jones and his teammate both have a shot of being top 10 cars at the end of the day. So give me Eric Jones plus 350 as a top 10.
Man, it makes me love Nemechek so much more getting his teammates only plus 350, and they've been pretty neck and neck, like really together this season. So, love all in on the Legacy love right now, Rod. So another guy that I love is a guy who has finished inside of the top 5 in 4 of the last 5 races. I'm going to take his top 5 once again this week. Chase Elliott plus 125. He has been on fire. He's a very streaky driver, and he loves this track, Rod. 5th place last season, 11th here in 23, but he won this race in 2022, leading 73 laps. Those are his next-gen starts, but even in the old car, 3rd in 21, a 5th in 20, a 5th in 19, 1 in 18, 2nd in 2017, 5th in the other 2017 race, 3rd and 3rd in 2016, back in the 24 car as a rookie. He has been extremely good here. 14 starts. He's got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of his 14 starts at this track have been inside of the top 5. Absolutely incredible. 2 of the races he got, one of them he had an engine issue. One he got in a wreck. So those were 38th and 39th place finishes. And 11th and 12th are his other 2 results. Everything else inside of the top 5. Absolutely impressive. They've looked really good the last couple of weeks. Obviously got the win at Atlanta, got that monkey off his back there. You love to see that. Coming off of 3rd place at Sonoma, they put the tires on late, made a charge, had the 3rd place at Mexico City, 5th at Pocono as well. And, hasn't finished worse than 20th all season long. 20th at Atlanta, the first race there, his worst finish of the entire season. Been a great, great run for him so far this year. And I think that he's going to be a top 5 competitor at the end of the day. I was going to take him outright, Rod, but we'll cover in a little bit why I did not take him outright. But absolutely love Chase Elliott this week.
I will, I'm going to reiterate everything you say here later. And for the record, I had my outright in the dock before Cody jumped in and added this. So he's stealing my thunder on this one.
I was pissed. I was pissed you stole my thunder because I was going to pick him outright. I couldn't do that. So I had to play the top 5 when that was the only option left for him.
You couldn't pass me under green flag conditions, so you had to punt me on pit road and move me out of the way, right?
As long as you're playing by the rules, you're playing by the rules, Rod.
All right. Well, Marcus, are you listening? Because I'm going to talk about your favorite driver here just for a second, and that is Christopher Bell. I'm also going to take Christopher Bell as a top 5 driver. This one's a little stretch because we all know that Christopher Bell has settled into somewhat of a William Byron type of a slump, right? You go win you 3 in a row in Atlanta, Coda, and Phoenix, and you think you're on top of the world. And by the way, like I said earlier, Phoenix, right, that 1 mile track is the last time we've had a mile track in that sort of configuration. But, then you go on to rip off second places at Martinsville and Darlington, an 8th place at Bristol. You get a 2nd place at Kansas. And then 2nd place in Mexico City, and then you fall on some hard times. 17th at Pocono, 30th in Atlanta, 24th at Chicago. But you bounce back at Sonoma with a 5th place finish, which, again, is a road course, and I get that, and I understand. But for the 20 team to have struggled so poorly in Chicago and Atlanta and really even Pocono, those 3 weeks tough for the team that, that Marcus expects to win each and every week. So for me, I'm looking at him to bounce back here as he has had finishes of 4th and 6th, and then, of course, 34th last year. Was a rough go for him there, but an average finish of 14.7, but that's just because that 4th and the 6th place got skewed by the 34th. So the other 2 races that he's been on, circling in and around that top 5 area, I think this is a great place, especially given the fact that he did have such a good run last week at Sonoma. This 20 team feeling a little better about themselves, and I think they can find themselves in a top 5 finish at plus 225 this week.
Yeah, I've got more thoughts on Bell in a little bit, so I'll save them, but I do like him this week as well, Rod. Our friend Truth Matters was asking for thoughts on the 17 car. Is this where he started his tear last year? I don't think so because he finished in 17th, but I am going to take him to be the top finishing Ford at the end of the day, plus 550. I talked earlier about how much I like Ryan Blaney. I like him in this matchup, but we've also seen inconsistency from him this year. Sometimes he has speed. The results aren't there. Chris Buescher is a guy that we've seen have a lot of speed so far this year and has been pretty decent in the past year. 17th last year, you'd like a little bit more, but 9th and 8th place finishes in the other 2 years. He did actually start on the pole here back in 2022. And then, road courses, whatever, are going to toss that out. But if you go back to ovals lately, what has he done? 4th place at Pocono. And actually, toss out the road courses where he's supposed to be good, but he really let us down. I cannot believe, Rod, that they did not take tires at the end of that race last week. The fuck were you doing? It looked like he dropped an anchor. Top 10 all day long. Just pissed me off, but that's okay. 4th place at Pocono, 2nd place at Michigan, 8th place at Kansas, 14th place at Nashville. So some good runs here lately. 6th place at Darlington, if you go back to that, with a good run there as well. It's been a good season for Chris Buescher. We talked about this top Ford market. It's up and down. It's, who's it going to be? It should really be Ryan Blaney just about every single week, but he has his bad weeks and will let you down occasionally. So going to take that. And then a guy that I know JDK is on, finished 6th place here last year, 50-1 to be the top finishing Ford, which he was in this race last season. Give me Noah Gragson, wrecked out in his first year here with a 34th place finish at Legacy back in 23. Okay, whatever. But started in 5th last year, finished in 6th place, had a good, solid run. It's been a bit of a tough season for Noah, right? It kind of started out. We liked how it started out, and then it sort of trailed off as a late day, getting wrecked at Sonoma late there. So you're kind of hoping we can get back to some of the better days we had earlier on in the season. but I think that he's got it in him. Even 10th place at Charlotte a few weeks ago, 14th at Kansas, some intermediate tracks, getting away from these road courses now, back to the ovals. I'm hoping some stuff will click for Gregson. He did it last year, and he's 50-1 in a Ford market that is just, there's a lot of unknowns, right? It's Blaney by quite a bit at the top, but if he has a bad day, who is it, right? Is it Logano? Is it Buescher? Is it Keselowski sometimes? Is it Priest sometimes? There's not really a ton of other strong Fords at the top each and every single week. So give me Buescher plus 550 and Gregson top Ford at 50-1. And Truth Matters says, you won't see Buescher on a scooter. I'll tell you that. Yeah, you're probably not going to see Buescher on a scooter, Rod.
I guarantee you won't, because I did not see Buescher on a scooter last week. But yeah, listen, and I agree, because I think, like, to me, Buescher is one of those guys where he just, you want so much more from him, and then he'll give it to you, and then he'll take it away from you, and it's a little frustrating on times. And I feel like there's a lot of drivers this last couple of months that have just kind of made you go,
he let me down so much. So I was so heavy on him the last 2 weeks, and he let me down at both Sonoma and Chicago. But like, things that were out of his control, and both, like, he ran really good last week, but then they don't take the tires at the end of the race, which was just like, I don't know how every single car, when SVG stayed out, every single fucking person should have took tires. Why would you? You were not going to beat him any other way. Anyways, frustrated with that. And then, Chicago, it was a mechanical issue, and he still fought back for a decent finish. So you can't penalize him too much for that. He's been good at the ovals lately. I'm hoping he kind of carries that into this race as well. If it's another bad week this week, whatever the excuse is, we might need to lay off of him for a bit, but I'm not ready to give up on him just yet.
I can't quit you. All right, speaking of can't quit, how about Denny Hamlin? I was trying to figure out a market to get in on Denny Hamlin, because he's just been so damn good on this track, and you kind of think to yourself, you can't really leave him off the card. I know that he's been really just inconsistent lately with the eye test, right? I mean, maybe the stats show you a little different, but you just feel like there should be more out of Denny Hamlin. So I'm just going to take him as the fastest lap. Plus 200 over there on Caesars for Denny Hamlin to have the fastest lap. And when you look at last year's total speed rankings chart, courtesy of our friends over at iFantasy Race, you will find that he is the fastest in the next gen era. So 10th fastest overall in 2022, but third fastest in 2023, and then last year he was the first. He's got an average speed ranking here of 4.7 in the next-gen era, which is better than Alex Bowman's 6th overall. And, like I said, for Denny Hamlin in the Monster Mile, he's just one of those guys. He's got 34 starts, 2 wins, 8 top 5s, and 16 top 10s. He won last year, finished 5th the year before that, 7th in 2021. He won in 2020, 5th in 2019, 2nd in 2018, 7th. I just could read you, the list goes on and on and on. He led 136 laps in last year's race, but winning. For the year before that, 67 to 218 in 2019. I mean, the guy's name is just cemented all over this track, and I feel like at some point Denny Hamlin's going to have to get back to being Denny Hamlin. Does he, though? I don't know. It seems to me that maybe some of these guys that are toward the twilight of their career are just trying to figure out other ways to go about their business, right?
Rod with his elder abuse again.
I can't help it. I am an old guy. I could beat on old men. That's my, that's my right as an old man to call out other old men. I should probably be riding out in the twilight right now. But the good thing about it, all I got to do is talk. And if anything's proven to me lately that you don't need to be coherent when you talk, then that's fine. I will definitely take on that challenge each and every week to get on here and just spout stuff. But no, listen, like I said, Denny Hamlin, this is the market that I'm comfortable with, because he could go out and tear off a fast lap, and then you're sitting pretty, and I don't need him to finish in the front at all if he rips off that fast lap and no one touches it the rest of the race.
Yeah, I love this bet. I hate all your analysis for it, but I think the bet's great, Rod, and I think you're completely wrong on Denny Hamlin, because I think he's been amazing at this track in particular, and he's been really good this season. He's got 3 wins. He has 10 top 5 finishes. He's been start like 20th at Sonoma last week. Who cares? It's Sonoma. He ran 4th at Chicago, which is a great day for him, right? got caught up in a wreck at Atlanta, but second at Pocono, won at Michigan, third place at Nashville. He's had some really good second place at Bristol, comp track to this, right? Won at Darlington, comp track to this. He won at Martinsville, fifth at Miami, second at Phoenix, sixth in at Atlanta earlier this season, right? So it's been a good season for Denny Hamlin overall. There's a couple of blemishes in there, right? The bad finish at Atlanta, Sonoma is what it is, fine, who cares? But he's had a strong season overall. And we've already documented, as you just did, how good he's been here at this track. 136 laps led last year, wins the race, fifth here the year before. He had another win here back in 2020. He's been really good at this track, just really down the last couple of seasons. So I love Denny Hamlin this week. I think he's had a strong season. I talked about him earlier over Kyle Larson, and I think he's going to beat Kyle Larson because I think he's going to win this race. I think even as a favorite at 5-1, Denny Hamlin's the guy I'm on this week. I just read it off. Like, really, if you go back to just the ovals, he's been one of the hottest drivers currently right now in the sport. I'm going to take that. I think he's in a good spot. New dad, right? He's living the dad life, locked in the playoffs. We're chasing the regular season championship, all this stuff. Things are locked in with Denny Hamlin right now. He doesn't have that killer instinct, Rod, as he talked about on the podcast this week. Won't even kill a spider. I think we've solved the problem why he can't win a championship, because he has no killer instinct. Maybe you should kill a fucking spider and he'd win a championship. I don't know. But not worried about it this week because he's just going to go win the race. That's all we're looking for. Give me Denny Hamlin to win this race at 5-1. Even as co-favorite with Kyle Larson, I do like him at that number. I like Christopher Bell as well. You can get him 14-1 over on ESPN. Speaking of guys that have been good on ovals this year, don't forget Christopher Bell also has 3 wins, plus he won the All-Star race this year, Rod. So been a strong season for him. He's coming off a 5th-place run at Sonoma last week. Despite there were multiple problems he had throughout that race, still fought back with a good finish. 2nd place at Mexico City a couple of weeks ago. You go back and you look, 2nd place at Kansas, had a good run there. Bristol, he had an 8th place run, not bad. Darlington, he a 3rd place finish there. So he's had some really good runs so far this season on ovals. And he's not been too bad at this track either. 34th last year, got caught up in a wreck. That's going to happen, right? Started bad. Sometimes you mess with the squirrels, you get your nuts cracked. But 6th and 4th in his other 2 starts here in the next gen era. So I like that out of Christopher Bell. I think at 14-1, it's just too big of a number for a guy that's been as good on ovals as he has been this season. Chase Briscoe, this is for the Discord, Rod. I couldn't find any other way to get on him. His top 10 number wasn't great. I didn't like the top Toyota either, but 20-1 I think is the right spot. You can get him at MGM still. He's come down on some other books already from this number. I'd get it earlier rather than later. I talked about him probably winning the poll. So, he's down to 16-1 over on Bet365, as JDK points out here. So, get him earlier rather than later. But Chase Briscoe I like. And this is more – so if you look at his stats here, not great, right? 19th last year for Stewart Haas, 13th and 22 for Stewart Haas. Those are okay runs. 30th in 23, not a good day. But if you look at what – first of all, the way that he's performed the last couple of weeks and the way that he's maybe, as it was brought up earlier in the chat, how he's run and he started to figure this car out, that is the part that could be scary about Chase Briscoe. And then you look at what Martin Truex Jr. has done here in the past. Best average finish of all drivers in the next gen era here at 5.3. Last season, finished in 3rd place, led 69 laps, Rod.
Nice.
Thank you. He won here, leading 68 laps in 23. And
not quite as nice.
Not quite as nice, but in the last 13 races here, back to his Furniture Row days, which is even prior to the 19 car Truex, it was so fucking amazing. 13 races. He finished inside of the top 4 in all but 3 of those. 10 top 4 finishes but to the point of the last couple of seasons being really good here. That's James Small's notebook. He's got that belt out. Actually, I think James Small might have even been on the 78 car back in the day as well. So there is that part to it as also. But we saw it last week at Sonoma, right? And that's what I'm really taking away from this is he was really good there. And, coming back now, Truex was good there, and it parlayed into Briscoe being good there. I'm hoping for the same thing this week. Also, let's not forget, last time we were on an oval, Chase Briscoe won at Pocono. 72 laps he led that day, won the race. He certainly figured some stuff out. Third place at Charlotte, fourth place at Kansas, some higher speed intermediates, fourth place earlier this season at Bristol. Good runs. Miami is a higher tire wear track. Fourth place finish there. Dirt guy. We like that type of background for these guys. So I like it. And then over on ESPN, Rod, you can get Tyrone Gibbs at 30-1. Talked about already why I like him so much as Rod shuts his camera off. But look at 30-1 for a guy that's been as strong as Gibbs has been lately, getting his feeding. I know he hasn't won a race yet. I get it. The top 10 is what we're really hoping for, right? That's why we bet that at plus money. But I think a little bit on him at 30-1. We're getting close to that first win. Gibbs has been good here. Look, we've talked about Denny Hamlin today. We talked about Chase Briscoe today. We've talked about Ty Gibbs today. Why am I forgetting who the other driver for Gibbs is?
Bell, Briscoe, Hamlin, and
Gibbs.
Gibbs.
We've talked about all of them. We're all in on Gibbs this week, right? So we like all of them. They've all been good here. He's been good on this type of track, really good at Bristol as well. So give me Ty Gibbs 30-1 over on ESPN. And Brian just now checking in, but he's right on par with us. Briscoe pole is he says more intriguing. I did mention that earlier. Again, I haven't seen any numbers on that yet, but I absolutely love him to win the pole. But I think you need to bet him outright early. Oh, open to 8-1. Holy shit. Yes. What book is that, Brian? Because I'll add that as an official play. Chase Briscoe 8-1 to win the pole. I really, really like that. Actually, I agree even more than the outright, but still going to take the outright at 20-1 as well.
Yeah, and Briscoe pole is always one of those things where you definitely want to get a piece of that because it seems like he just pops up and is able to do it. And like you said, that 19 has definitely been fast around here at the Monster Mile as well. And by the way, hi, Brian. It was so great to meet Brian. Brian and Kyle both. I mean, if you aren't checking out the Angle of Pursuit podcast, then you need to. And not only that, but subscribing to their newsletter too. That comes out on Sunday morning after everything, right? So Sunday morning, you wake up and you've got a nice little newsletter right there for you with all of their DFS picks, their favorite bets after qualifying and all that stuff. Make sure Angle of Pursuit, you can find them on YouTube, find them on all that. Brian _Twining, and Notorious RKO, I think is what Kyle's is as well. But yeah, I'm telling you right now, go check them out. They were a lot of fun to meet. And Brian, I think I will be taking you up on that offer to come stay with you in Vegas when I go watch Vegas earlier or later on in the year. All right.
Yeah. He's saying that was on Caesars. I didn't know. I've been watching Caesars. I hadn't seen any qualifying stuff posted, so I don't know. Maybe it's only in certain states, but I'll be interested in what the number is now, or if they just completely pulled it down. Maybe they got hammered on Briscoe already and had to take it down.
Nevada, a far superior state to everybody else when it comes to the world of gambling.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, then this is the one that Cody wanted, but I took from him, and that's Chase Elliott, 12-1. He read you all the stats for Chase Elliott already, especially on this track in particular, and honestly, I can't say much more to back you up other than the fact that he has been on fire lately. Third at Sonoma. He won in Atlanta, fifth at Pocono, third at Mexico City. Just one of these consistent guys that's going to consistently hammer the consistency out of the consistent. And for Chase Elliott, we talked about how good he's been on this track and what our friends over at iFantasy Race say about him. He does have the best average finish, tied with Ross Chastain, by the way, in the next-gen era at Dover, 5.7. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's just Chase Elliott's world. He won in 2022, finished fifth in 2024, bat 11th place in 2023, but even still, that's just outside of the top 10 finish for Chase Elliott. This team is doing the right things at the right time. It seems like he's got the confidence to be able to come back to an oval and have himself a good, solid day. And unlike his teammate, William Byron, he does not have a summer slumping type of a characteristic to him, so you can take him with some level of confidence into these summer months and turn it into a victory. And look, for all that Hendrick Motorsports is starting to hemorrhage, right, with Kyle Larson suffering, Alex Bowman, he's consistent, but it's not like you go and put $1 million ticket on him to win every single race and feel confident, right? And then, of course, with Kyle Larson, like I said, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, and William Byron in his summer slump, somebody's got to pick up the pieces, and Chase Elliott's pretty much the guy that's able to do that. So, yeah, listen, I feel like this is a very solid bet. At 12-1, you can find that over on DraftKings right now. DK's got that at 12-1. That is a fantastic price for a Chase Elliott for all the reasons that Cody talked about him as a top 5 car, but put him a few spots up in victory lane at the end of the day. And yes, Sons, I definitely want me a piece of that Briscoe pole. That's 1,000% what we want out of this. But yeah, look, I love it.
Yeah, I love the Chase Elliott play here. When I think of concrete tracks, he's the first guy that comes to mind every time. Been great on this track. He's on fire lately. I mentioned all the top fives he's had recently. I gave out the top 5 bet, but if you didn't have him already in the outright box, I would have definitely put him down. So I love some Chase Elliott this week.
Indeed. All right, well, get out your pen and paper. It's time to go over our bets for this AutoTrader EchoPark Automotive 400 ABC to EFG. And then, of course, for those of you on YouTube, we do have the graphic today, so get ready to screenshot this as well. I started you out with Chase Elliott over Chase Briscoe, the battle of the chases, the chase of the chases, if you will. And really only to say that I think Elliott's probably going to win this race, so he's going to definitely finish better than Briscoe. Even if Briscoe finishes in second and catches all your other bets, that's cool, but I'll take that. And then I'll take Joey Logano over Carson Hocevar, minus 125 over on Caesars. Then I give you Eric Jones as a top 10 car at plus 350. Christopher Bell as a top 5 car at plus 225. Hamlin to turn the fastest lap of the race at 2-1. And then, of course, Elliott to win the race at 12-1. Cody gave you Denny Hamlin over Kyle Larson, minus 125. He added Ryan Blaney over William Byron at minus 110. Giving you Ty Gibbs over Tyler Reddick at plus 110, and taking Gibbs as a top 10 car at plus 150. Also giving you Cole Custer as a top 10 car at 9-1. John Hunter at 9-1 to be a top 10 car. Chase Elliott, top 5, plus 125. Christopher Buescher, top 4 at plus 550. Noah Gragson is the top 4 at 50-1 rather. Denny Hamlin at 5-1 to win the race. Christopher Bell at 14-1. Chase Briscoe 20-1. And Ty Gibbs at 30-1 to win this race. Back to ovals, Cody. Back to just one. It's funny because Noah from the West Coast. Damn it. See, I'm so bad at names right now. But yeah, he asked, Noah Reed asked Shane Van Gisbergen what ovals he is going to be good at, or what ovals he's trying to win. And he's like, the ones that turn left. And so I was like, that's pretty funny. Nice
Back
moves
to
there.
the roundy rounds, Rod. Very excited for some roundy round action this week.
Me too. But yes, so that concludes the cup portion of this. We'll be back tomorrow with Xfinity and Cody. Not just Xfinity, but Xfinity and trucks, right? We got one more. Oh, no. I was so excited. I wanted one.
Right,
is it one more week without it?
Next week. They'll be back at IRP next week while Cup and Xfinity take on the big track. They'll take on the little track. Feels like it's been, 47 years since the trucks last raced. But I think we get one, and then they take another 47 weeks off because that's how this part of the schedule works out for them. Sadly, but just Xfinity tomorrow. Looks like Asha reporting that the outrights are out for the Bet Rivers 200. Over on Caesars and Bovada. Allgaier is a favorite, to no surprise. Chastain, Almirola. We got some big hitters in this race, Rod. Chastain going to be in the 9 car, Almirola back in the 19 for Gibbs. So excited to talk about that one.
It's funny. As I was pulling into the parking lot of Sonoma, there was a lady that was putting out signs that said, "Bring back Ben Rhodes and the Truck Series." So there's a lot of folks that miss them some Truck Series out there at Sonoma. It was pretty funny. Yeah, bring back Ben Rhodes.
Truck Series road course racing is special.
Very special. That was the first year that I was there, but I didn't get to go watch it. So I feel a little cheated. But all right, that's neither here nor there. Come back tomorrow. We will give you our favorite Xfinity Series picks then from the Bet Rivers 200 out there at the Dover Motor Speedway in Dover, Delaware. Till then, Cody, where can everybody find us in the real world?
Yes, Rod. Follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeb. You can find all my stuff there. NFL stuff is ramping up and coming out hard, so lots and lots of that. Love it. Oh, football season is here. Football season never ends, as we know, Rod. But NFL season is here, and it, of course, is still the king. So very excited for that. As I smash my microphone here. Find all my work over there, Rod. Subscribe to the YouTube, all the fun bells and whistles the kids say. See you tomorrow for Xfinity.
Shout out to the Hendrick Motorsports division in the Scott Fishbowl. Finished up our draft. That's got to be a record, I tell you. That's the fastest I finished up a Scott Fishbowl slow draft in a long time. So for those of you who are listening, shout out to you guys. It's going to be a fun season. Thanks for a great draft. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link about everything I got going on, whether it's here. So You Like Sports, about to jump back off again, having a good time. And then, of course, follow the Back Road this week as I'm on with Seth and Elliott to talk about all my fun at Sonoma and then, of course, the fun ahead at Dover. So until then, everybody, we'll see you tomorrow. Love you. Let's go racing and let it ride.